Hi, it's Dr. Hood. I want to talk about obesity culture and it affecting your mindset. I recently heard someone on the radio who claimed to be public health scientist, and she argued that there is no real correlation between obesity and an increased risk of diseases like diabetes, heart disease, stroke, cancer, and so on. And her argument was that the reason there is a correlation and not causation is that fat people or overweight people are marginalized and discriminated against, and therefore they have increased stress and have worse health outcomes similar to other marginalized groups in society. Now, I'm sure there's a small contributory factor, but there's no real basis behind this argument, because whatever you say, being clinical obesity is your physical manifestation of a poor health or poor diet, and possibly to an extent reduced exercise. And then this increases your risk of these diseases: diabetes, heart disease, stroke, cancer. Now, whether there's an overlap between the two, so maybe if you have a very poor, nutrient poor diet that is high in inflammation, that is what actually increases your risk of heart disease and also increases your risk of being overweight, fine. But at the end of the day, being overweight in itself increases your risk of heart disease because of these other factors, and diabetes, other chronic diseases, and cancer. Now, that's not to say that there isn't pressure on people who are clinically overweight, in particular from social media. There is this pressure to look a perfect way, but that doesn't negate the fact that if you're clinically overweight, you have an increased risk of these chronic diseases, of an increased risk of cancer, and also something that is less talked about. An increased risk is that you won't thrive in middle to older age. So you're more likely to be frail. You're more likely to require support in older age if you don't look after your health from a diet and exercise point of view. So you'll survive but not thrive, which is what you actually want to do. Particularly if you're starting to become health conscious, you want to realize that important aspect. But the point I want to make about this obesity culture, denying the reality that if you're overweight, that does increase your risk of worse health outcomes, it's a mindset issue. Because taking control of your health, getting lean, looking lean, feeling healthy, requires different aspects. It's 80% diet, it's about 20 to 30% exercise and fitness, and it's 100% mindset. It's 100% mindset because you need to change the way you approach food, you need to change the way you approach exercise, you have to be confident in your decisions, you have to persist because results don't come straight away. And also you have to realize that you have to overcome this message from these people who promote obesity culture that it's not okay to be clinically overweight from a health point of view. No one's saying that somebody who is clinically overweight isn't attractive. The point is saying that person who is clinically overweight has poorer health. So you can't say it's okay that I'm overweight, so therefore I'm going to stop working on my diet and stop working on my exercise. You only live once. That's the wrong attitude to have. You need to, once you've decided actually it's not okay to be clinically overweight, then you need to persist, and you need to deal with the negativity that people give you, saying, "Oh, you only live once," you're not enjoying life's treats, and then the other message, which is it's okay to be overweight. You need to ignore these messages and focus on the positive ones, which is actually you're not starving yourself, you're not going on a low-calorie diet, you're not denying yourself any treat, you're just changing the way in which you eat so that you maximize the nutrient-rich food and minimize the nutrient-poor foods, which includes controlling most carbohydrates. And in turn, that corrects your metabolism, that stimulates fat burning, and in partnership with exercise, stimulates your heart and muscles, gives you that lean look, and in parallel, reduces your risk of chronic disease. So you're achieving two goals, which is to burn fat, to look lean, to get strong, and reduce your risk of disease. So when you hear messages like that, be wary of them. It can impact your mindset. Continue with your journey. Always try to improve, always try to be consistent, and do realize that you reducing your weight to a healthy weight is going to impact positively on your fitness, on your health in the short term, on your health in the long term, and also in your confidence. And all these things are quite important.